Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you how to make a snare sound like the one that I use in this project. It's very simple, but follow me. Let's take a look on how I made it. The snare is basically made with 3 layers. That is this 3 layer here. Let's listen in solo. The first layer, the noise layer, and the second noise layer. I made the first 2 layers with VITAL, the free VST from Matt title. Let's take a look, deactivate everything. Let's jump into VITAL. We are pressing the note C2. The sound is made with a single oscillator and a noise sample. The first oscillator has the basic shape loaded. We are going to use this simple sine wave. There's some modulation and some effects, but we are going to turn it everything off. Let's bypass all the modulation and let's start from the beginning. The LFO number 3 is modulating the amplitude of the level of the oscillator number 1. Unbypass is making this sound. The LFO number 3 is set to envelope mode, and with this frequency, the LFO 1 is modulating the transpose of oscillator number 1 with a value of 22.08 with this shape that you can draw by yourself here by pressing 2 times in this window. Yeah, the same for the first. LFO number 1 is linked to transpose of oscillator number 1 with a value of 22. Set it to envelope mode with a frequency of 0.023 seconds, smooth down to 0. Let's listen without and with. The change is very subtle, but it will be accentuated with these effects. LFO number 2 is modulating the level of the white noise without and with. LFO number 2 is set also to envelope and with this time smooth down to 0. LFO number 4 is modulating the reverb that is on the effects section. This is the reverb that I use for making this snare, and now the mix is turned down to 0, so forgive for a moment about this reverb. After the reverb we have a distortion unit with linear fold kind of distortion and drive up to 9 dB and the mix all the way up. After that I load up a multiband compressor here. The latest FX is an EQ that boosts a bit this zone here. Now we activate this modulation. It is set to envelope mode and with this time smooth down to 0 and bypass. So this is the first snare layer. Here in Ableton we have a saturator, but is acting like a limiter with this soft clip activated, with and without. Okay, let's jump into the second layer of the snare, that is the noise. This noise here. It's very simple. Yeah, it's white noise with a filter. Remember to set this one to filter number 1. And what we have here, we have an LFO that modulates the level of the sample. In the effects section we have a chorus and we have a distortion. 15 dB soft clip all the way up, and this one instead is the parameter of the chorus. By experimenting, maybe you obtain better results. After that, we have this sound. I sample these two sound down here, and I turn it down a bit the volume, and all together sound like this. Very nice. In the noise layer, I also applied a bit of EQ, nothing too extreme. And after that, I decide to load also another noise layer, but I obtained it by starting from a sample of a breakbeat. I isolate the snare and I apply some process. Let's deactivate everything. I keep activated this utility. At this stage we have this sound. So I decide to apply a gate for cutting the tail of this sound. I also apply EQ8. Let's give some volume. I also apply this EQ8 for I cut a bit of these harsh frequencies in the high. I low pass a bit the sound. I high pass the sound till circa 400 Hz, and I boost a bit around 2 kHz. Then I apply a saturator with very high parameters, 18 dB, soft clip activated, and output down to -11 dB. Then I apply this free compressor, but this is not a compressor, this is an expand. They have different parameters. This one is attack is to 0. This one is different. Yeah, they are all different. It's fine tuning by yourself. Then I apply a reverb. And I gate everything again. I turn it down the volume to mix it with the rest of the snare. And the final result is this. So, for today is everything. Hope you learned something new and see you soon to the next video. Bye bye.